Yeah. I mean, do you want to test one more time and then if they say... Yeah, should we test one more time and then if they say it's too faint, then we'll just lollipop it? Yeah. It's okay. He's not in charge of this program. It's the company. Pass it around. Test 1, 2, 3. We are here at the beautiful Lambert Park. Let's talk through a goal. A little bit of build-up play here from APIA. Great ball. In on goal. Presley Ortiz. Oh, it's a good save by Wade. Sammy, how good was that save?
Absolute scenes. How was that goal? Wow, Daniel's tennis once again. Wow, he's on top of the goal scoring. It's still on. Can you hear me? Is there any volume at all on this? Test 1, 2, test 1, 2.
Lollipop?
Yeah, so hopefully this one sounds good.
It won't make a difference, yeah.
Test 1, 2, Marconi and APIA, two great sides full of history. What a game. The Italian derby. Are we going to see more goals? I'm sure we will. Last time there was a few of them. How does this sound? Test 1, 2, test 1, 2.
That's what I'm doing now. Yeah. Yeah, that's the now I have one mic.
But he can hear me on this one, yeah? Test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. We are at Lambert Park. APIA taking on Marconi. Two great sides full of history. Both at the top of the table. How does this sound? Is there any audio at all? Testing 1, 2. Testing 1, 2.
Test,
one,
test,
two.
test, test.
Test 1,
That's
2.
the APIA.
Test 1, 2.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
How does this sound?
Yeah, that's working.
It's better now?
Is that two different?
Say it again. Yeah, that's the headset and the mic. All right, cool. I'm not touching it anymore. All good. Right. Okay, bye. Like here? It should be okay.
This. Yeah. Cool. Changes the uphill lineup. Welcome to the 94th Derby d'Italia in the 56-year history of this great Italo-Australian footballing rivalry. You could make the argument that Italo-Australian culture has never been as red hot as it is right now. We are looking at the three previous winners of the New South Wales NPL Championship. And my co-host Sam Yerman, it is no surprise that they meet here in round 16 at a beautiful Lambert Park, the eighth wonder, once again going for top spot.
Yeah, very excited for this one, Adamo. Two great sides full of history. Marconi will be full of confidence after 6 unbeaten, whereas APIA, after a great run of form for 3 months, lost last week to St. George City. So they'll be wanting to come out of this one confident. They're quite tired out of all their derbies, so it'll be good to see, and I think it can go either way.
Absolutely, Sammy, and I think definitely in the last 2-3 years, there's no doubt that this is the biggest game in New South Wales. I'm biased as an Italo-Australian from Sydney, but I think this is the biggest game in Australian football. And you know it's big, Sammy, because we have a Denza beautiful truck that has delivered the match ball, I'm assuming.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better.
Benza!
Does it?
Sammy, I beg your pardon. I wasn't getting paid for that, as you can tell.
Bit, your eyes have always, kind
Deceived
of deceived you a little bit, so...
It's a man that has seen many Derby d'Italias to get us underway. Marco Jesic, Marconi in Azzurri blue. Beautiful light blue from right to left on your screen. APIA need a win to reclaim top spot. Anything but that, and Marconi will remain. These two teams have been the gold standard in New South Wales. APIA 2023 champions, Marconi 2024 champions, APIA 2025 champions. But of course, Marconi with the most recent bragging rights, having knocked them out of the Australian Championship and defeated them in round 1. And here comes Mate Busic straight away. And Sammy, in other related news, I had it right the first time. It was Denza.
I thought you were right.
The B was because it's the Denza BB. And if anyone has no idea what I'm talking about, we had a delivered ball, a car on the field. Thankfully, we play on artificial and not grass. Otherwise, it would have been in a sorry state. Also because of all the rain that we've had, Sammy, which thankfully has stayed away, as those fans here nearly had a collector's item after 50 seconds.
It is looking a bit grey, though, over there. So fingers crossed the rain does stay away.
Big changes for APIA. This game has started frantically as we expected, Sammy, but I'm going to try and run through them very quickly. As always, it's Oliver Kalatz in goals. Changes in the back line. Huge start for Eijin Kishimoto. Temba Muatamalo, Michael Kuta and Cameron Fong. In midfield, the reliable pair of Fabian Monge and Eddie Caspers are joined by Franco Farinella, who starts the Derby d'Italia. A front three of Seiya Kambayashi, who takes this throw. Presley Ortiz back into the starting lineup, having shaken off a broken wrist. And a start for the super sub, who's now looking to make an impact from the start. The man who scored last week, Alex Denmead, and here he is on the ball going up against George Daniel. That is a battle to watch. Sammy, big changes in this APIA team, but one of the hallmarks of APIA under Franco Parisi is such a deep squad.
Yeah, and I think it's the one team in the league that probably does have that much depth that it doesn't bother them. Look at those players that have come in. They're as good as the players that have gone out.
Low corner, cut off by Busic, who just is happy to send it away. Anyone wondering why there are so many changes? No Sean Simmons, no Jack Stewart. Michael Conestabo drops to the bench. Injuries and also a big week coming up for APIA. They take on Rockdale in the Australia Cup. And as we know, Sammy, and we've seen in the past, APIA, a team that make noise in that competition and take it very, very seriously.
Yeah, no, for sure. Massive game this week. So he's done the right thing, probably trying to give some fresh legs.
And here come APIA, bursting down that left-hand side. It's Farinella. Tyrone Burney had to be perfect with that slide, and he was, but it'll be out for another APIA corner.
2 quick corners in 3 minutes. They're on the attack.
Let's see if they can make this one count. They couldn't do it from the right-hand side. It's now Kambayashi who's going to take this one. After this corner, Sammy, I'll quickly run through the Marconi lineup, but it's as full strength as it has been all season. Here's Kambayashi, looping corner, and gave Wade something to think about. We almost saw an Olympico, and you're not seeing it on our screen, but both ends, Sammy, we're planted right on the halfway line, full. Fantastic turnout here at Lambert Park. There's a few fans behind the goal as well. I wonder where the stables are. The Marconi Actives. Love those guys. Here come Marconi. Big inclusions in their starting lineup. Joel Wade in goals. Reliable fullbacks Tyron Burney and George Daniel. A return to the starting lineup for Anton Milnaric and Ten Kuol, who scored a double when these teams met back in round one. The wingers are Mate Busek and the fiery Franco Maya. Quinton Blair returns to the centre of midfield, and it's a homecoming for former APIA Championship winner Jack Armson. The front two, I don't know if there's a more red-hot front two than Marko Jesic and our competition's top goal scorer, Damien Sekenis. It's now Joel Wade to take the goal kick. Apologies, guys. We're just sorting out Sammy's audios. We're still having natural teething issues with the implementation of two commentators, which is long overdue. Ijin Kishimoto showing off those hops. He can get hang time, Sammy. Telling you, he wouldn't look out of place with a basketball in his hands, but very reliable centre-back as well, and a very popular figure in this APIA team, having come over from Mounties. Here's Denmead. Alex Denmead had a crazy knack last season of scoring off the bench. And I managed to ask him at the end of one of those games, it must be a little bit of a, the double-edged sword. Of course, you're happy to contribute and you love scoring goals, but you want to be starting. Here he is today with a lovely turn and finding space. And Wade was a full stretch. I have a feeling it may have been going wide anyway, but a great start by the super sub, who I'm sure Sammy wants to shake off that tag and be a regular starter.
Yeah, there's a reason why he's a super sub. He always comes on and scores a golazo, but he's been a great player to bring in for Franco Parisi, and APIA definitely on that attack.
And we mentioned APIA's deep squad. One thing about these teams, Sammy, from 1970, Dave, and then Kishimoto gets up again. I'd love to measure his standing high jump as they go in the direction of Busek. Muatamalo v Busek. That is a battle that we've seen for many years in this competition, and we're going to get another chapter here as Daniel and Denmead's been a good early battle. But Sammy, when you think of these teams, you think of the past, you very much think of the present, but you also have to think of the future, because they met in last year's under-20s grand final, with Marconi coming out victorious in that one as Presley Ortiz comes back from an offside position. So these teams very much equipped for the present as well as the future. And we saw that last week with a couple of debuts handed out by Marconi in the last fortnight. Daniel Osai, who is only 16 years old, Sammy. 16 years old. Antonio Marvello, a fortnight ago, came off the bench for his debut, started in the heart of defence. So what a fantastic job this Marconi all-star coaching staff, which you might be able to pick up on your screen. It's an intimidating bench. There's a squad on that bench.
Yeah, there's about 20 of them. But, Adamo, when you mention, the history between these two, I think it's crazy, because 38 wins for Marconi, 37 wins for APIA, and 18 draws. So that just shows you that these two teams are always at the top of the league. They're always there. They always have a great squad. Even when they lose some players, they just almost, Yeah, even when they lose some players, they're just able to attract even more, great talent. And I think that's just credit to these clubs and what they do with their juniors. And like you mentioned with the 20s, it's a bit of a foul from Tang Kuo.
Eight and a half minutes gone here. Player down for APIA. No surprises that whenever these teams play, it's always feisty. Of course, in the Australian Championship, Franco Meyer doing battle with Sean Simmons. There's the Stables making some noise on that opposite touchline. Shout out to them. APIA take the free kick. Here is Marko Jesic dispossessed by Kaspers. A bit of space here for Ortiz. Got the head down, but he finds a pass. Denmead. Plenty of noise here. Love that with a little APIA squadron. This is what we love to see. 94th Derby d'Italia, and really taking the moniker of you can't split them to a new level. 38 wins for Marconi, 37 for APIA, and 18 draws. Of course, if there was a draw today, Marconi would remain first. Sydney United losing to UNSW. The Bermuda Triangle, known as the Village Green, claims another victim. Lambert, a formidable place to come, but Marconi do have experience winning here. They did the double as Denmead gets that in between the legs of Sekenis, who then gives away a foul. Here's Moatamalo, Kishimoto. So good, Sammy, to see Marconi doing what they always do, and that's being rock solid defensively. But last year, an issue for them was the goals had dried up from their championship winning season. Is that touch just a little bit too heavy for Fong? This year, though, back to their free-flowing best. Damien Sekenis, top goal scorer in the competition comfortably.
Yeah, and it's not just been Sekenis. He's leading the goals in the competition on 13, and he scored 8 last year. So it's definitely an improvement already, and we're only how many games in. But the goals are also shared around. You've got Jesic, who's on 5. Oh, it's a fiery contest. And also Tang Kuo. So the goals are shared amongst the Stallions.
They certainly are, and they come from everywhere as well. Jack Armson chipped in with 5, looking really like the Jack Armson that we saw in the Maroon Azzurri here. What a player he is, and this game is filled with so many talented ones. Veterans, players of the future, of course. And what I love about this level of football, Sammy, is you are really watching the next generation. 6 months ago, James Hilton started in goals for Marconi. Last night, he became an A-League champion as part of Auckland FC's maiden A-League championship. Shout out to the doctor, who I'm sure is watching. Strong challenge there from Kaspers. Uncle Meyer might need to see a doctor after that one because he stayed down. Here's Kaspers. Lays it out wide to Kambayashi. And Myers stayed down. Marconi have been bitten heavily this season by the injury bug. And they wouldn't want to lose someone as important as Franco Meyer, who I love, Sammy. You can just tell. I can tell he's Uruguayan. And you know how? He's a baller, and he plays with his heart on his sleeve. And I can imagine he's the type of player that Marconi would love to have in their team, but maybe opposition players aren't the biggest fan of him. A little bit of a stop-start last few minutes here after a high-energy opener. If you're just joining us now, both teams making changes, a little bit different types of changes. No Jack Stewart, Sean Simmons, and Michael Conestobo in the starting lineup for APIA. Mixture of injuries and also a busy schedule coming up. No cup football for Marconi. They were knocked out by Sydney Olympic. And a welcome addition in the back line for Ten Kwol and Anton Minaric. Quinton Blair coming back in, and here he is, nipping the ball and looking forward and threading the needle for Sekenis, who's got a little bit of space, and Moatamalo coming across. Damien Sekenis against Moatamalo. Moatamalo had to be perfect there. And he was. I know Temba's a big Arsenal fan. That was William Saliba-esque there from APIA's stand-in captain today. When you build a Mount Rushmore, Sammy, of modern APIA players, I think of Adrian Ochino, who retired last season, the Simmons brothers, of course, Franco Parisi. Temba has to be there.
Temba definitely has to be there, and he's been rock solid since coming back from injury. It's really great to see him dominating at the back. I think he provides a lot of confidence for the young boys in the team too.
Definitely, and he hasn't missed a step. Coming back from a horrible ACL injury he suffered last season, missed the entirety, and Drayden Kelly really emerged as the defender in New South Wales. He got the Australian Championship Player of the Year. He left at the end of that competition, and just a straight swap. What a seamless transition, going from one great player having a returning another great player. Misplaced pass, pounced on by Kuda, who's continued his run. Kuda, another goal-scoring defender. Wait, there's something to think about, and Presley Ortiz got there first. But thankfully for Marconi, their goalkeeper just got a touch on it. Just a couple little momentary lapses there from the Stallions. They go long in the direction of Sekenis. Header away, and Jesic. I say this every time I commentate him, Sammy, but he really is a fine wine. Showing no signs of slowing down. Roofer by trade. That is a tough trade. I'm certainly not built for that.
No, you're probably not. But you speak about, all-time greats for APIA. Jesic definitely has to be all-time for Marconi. Mr. Marconi, he's been there for so many years. Again, you speak about that experience. He's got A-League experience. He's a vet in the league. But again, when he's playing, he makes the whole team that much better.
16 minutes gone here. It's goalless. A bit of context. This was looking like it was going to be a first v second battle. APIA and their crazy 13-game unbeaten run in the league. If you add their run in the cup, 16 games unbeaten, was ended last week by St. George City. And referee playing on here. So it looked like it was going to be a first v second battle. It's first v third, but APIA with a win this afternoon. They would also equal the all-time ledger between these two teams, but they would reclaim top spot.
And St. George City have become APIA's, bogey team, if you would say. I think last year didn't they beat them too? So APIA are a strong side, but just couldn't get the job done last week.
And that just shows you how unpredictable this league is. You think that win, St. George City won the week before, that's going to kickstart a revival for them, and then they were stunned late by Manly. So you really just cannot pick it. It's a tried and tested cliche, Sammy, but it is a week-to-week league here in New South Wales. Sydney United made that record-breaking start. They got pegged back. Oh, Kwol with an air swing, recovers well. Such a good player, Ten Kwol. And he's probably, throughout his young career, been a victim of his own versatility. Can play in so many positions, but at the heart of defence is where he looks his best. And it's such a luxury having someone like him who's played up front and can play on the wing, because he can push it forward and grab a goal like he did 2 times in that opening game. He scored a similar screamer against UNSW, scored against St. George City as well, as they have a pop, and That's a simple save for Oliver Kalatz. Franco Myers shaking off that knock from before.
Yeah, it's definitely a handy player for Peter Sekenis to have in Tang Kuo. He's able to do it all, and yeah, if you're not able to get those goals, he just pushes him up front later in the game. So definitely the most versatile player in the league.
Definitely, and the Kuo family, that is just a footballing factory. There's a couple great family trees, the Armsen family. Shout out to Helen as well, works for Football New South Wales, does a fantastic job. This game settled down a little bit. It had feisty Derby d'Italia energy at the start, a couple heavy challenges as well. Settled into a little bit of a lull here.
Yeah, can you believe it's only been 18 minutes? I feel like it should be almost half time. So much has already happened.
Time flies when you're having fun. And I tell you what, there's plenty of fun happening here. Dom Panino's got a stand. The canteen was pumping. And fans filling out all four corners here at Lambert. Seiya Kambayashi, no goals in 2026, I beg your pardon, for Seiya. Still as influential as ever. You really saw it last week. I commentated that game and he looked Apia's most dangerous. Nice sort of threaded pass for Kuda. The touch was a little bit heavy and it allowed Kuo to clear it away. Here's the ex-Sydney FC and St. George City youth, Cameron Fong. I'd say in terms of footballing derbies, this is probably on the more friendly side, but still very fiercely contested. And these teams met 5 times last season. Marconi won both times in the league, home and away. And then Apia knocked them out in the Australia Cup and in the finals. And then the tiebreaker was that wild Australian Championship game. Mate Busek got the opening goal. Looked like they were on their way to win within the 90 until Oscar Gonzalez became the youngest ever Australian Championship goal scorer, sent us to extra time, where Jimmy Hilton was, of course, the hero, Sammy.
And you mentioned the Oz Championship. I think that's been so great for the league. The exposure the players have been able to get. Jimmy Hilton, that's really where he made a name for himself. And like you mentioned, now an A-League champion. So it's pretty incredible.
Of course, shout out to Joel Bertolicio as well, former Apia player and now a key part of the Newcastle Jets premiership winning team. So Ben Gibson as well. Nice switch. A bit of space for Denmead, who's made a bright start, the super sub. Couple step overs, running out of room, and it was well closed down by Busek and Daniel. Another Apia corner. Haven't been able to make any count yet. We saw Seiya Kambayashi almost score an Olympico, and that's probably, Sammy, you have to say, the closest we've come to seeing a goal in the opening 21 minutes. Denmead to take. Goalless in the 94th Derby d'Italia. Header away to Fong. Back out to Denmead. Wants the 1-2 from Farinella. What a luxury for Franco Parisi to have 2 players that I would safely say would start in most teams in this league, being able to call upon them. Shout of handball, a little half shout there from Kuda. And that's a credit to Franco Parisi in the job that he's done. He's got such a deep squad, but he's able to sell this Apia vision to these players and keep those players hungry, even when they're not starting regularly and probably could start regularly in this competition. I've got to give a special mention to Ijin Kishimoto. It's got a great vlog. Semi-professional footballer content, Sammy. I absolutely love it. I want to see more of it. Levi Shuriaga does a great one as well. He does a day in the life, and he's trying to get Jeremy Doku to comment on his video. I think he's up to about day 13. So, Jeremy Doku, if you're listening, don't think he is, but if he's listening, comment on the man's video. Monge. Of course, another part of that 2023 team had the stint at Melbourne Victories. Farinella is fouled and returned, and it was like he never left. Fong. No Oscar Gonzalez in the starting lineup today. This man starting in his place. Oscar Gonzalez, I saw Max Court today, returned from Joey's duty. And I'd always wondered, Sammy, how come Oscar Gonzalez isn't getting called up in this? Apparently he's right on that cutoff, that age cutoff. So that's why Max Court, who's been away on Joey's duty, and Oscar Gonzalez has it, because if he was born a month or two earlier, he would have been there too. Here's Kambayashi going up against Bernie. Looking for some space to find the cross. Milarich's clearance. And as far as Casper's. And loose pass there's pounced on by Busek. Strong tackle sends Marko Jesic flying. He's been flying into tackles. Franco Farinella starting in the heart of midfield and probably been a little bit unlucky, Sammy. I'd say Kambayashi was up his player of the season last year, but if I had to give a player of the second half of the season, it would have been Franco Farinella. And he's definitely playing with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, and Jesic may be a little bit cranky from the foul before. APIA fans don't like it. It's going to be a free kick in an exciting position here for the team in Maroon Azzurri. "25 minutes of the 94th Derby d'Italia." Easy to think these teams have met 93 times. And the difference is one win. Marconi 38, APIA 37. 18 draws. Anything but an APIA win this afternoon will mean that Marconi finished the round in top spot. A win for Marconi means they can start to pull clear from that premiership pack that is formed by these two teams and Sydney United. It's Denmead to take the free kick. It's curling. It's a decent ball. Header there for Ortiz. You just couldn't get clean contact on it. But not for the first time this afternoon. APIA looking dangerous from a set piece.
And it's Farinella again. He's fired up. Like you said, he's playing with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. He's in every contest, and he's just a great player to watch, Adamo.
He is. Armson. And it's been all APIA the last 5 or so minutes. Marconi might just be happy to have a spell on the ball here. Busek was looking for the 1-2, but as has been the case, it just feels like there's Maroon Azzurri jerseys everywhere. Milaric and Ortiz getting tangled up. Sammy, when we heard the news, it sent shockwaves in the NPL transfer sphere of Alek Urushevsky going to Bankstown. The big question became after that, well, finally someone else can win the Golden Boot. Who is it going to be? And we're looking at two contenders that we would have penciled in at the start. It's been crazy to see, though, Damien Sekenis just pull away.
Yeah, I think he's really found his confidence and his best form. You look at him in the Australian Championship, he told me he got his first hat-trick ever, and from there he's kind of just been on a roll. You know, last season, 8 goals, still a great effort. But like I mentioned before, 13 already. He's definitely an exciting player to watch.
He's Fong dancing and weaving, looking for the 1-2, gets it back, Kambayashi, good block to prevent Kambayashi from scoring his first of the season. Lovely football once again by APIA. This man's been in everything. APIA's Mr. Dependable. Switch there by Caspers. Kuda looking for a way through. Gets the throw instead. Sammy, you mentioned 8 goals for Damien Sekenis. Such a pivotal part for this team, though. Compare him to Olivier Giroud. He's that mould of striker, but has taken it to another level in 2026. Already cleared his tally as that was. And a yellow card for Temba Muatamalo. He knew straight away he made the heavy touch that he had to give away the foul, otherwise Jesic was in. And Apia's stand-in captain goes in the book for a foul on Marconi's captain.
It'll be interesting to see what happens second half now with all these fouls and yellow cards. Can see it going anyway. The last 10 minutes have been very intense.
Certainly have, which is what this great crowd here at Lambert wanted to see. Yet to see any goals. I have a feeling that could be changing very soon. Franco Maya to take it. Maya looped into the back post and it hits the crossbar, and then the second effort is skied. Closest we've come to a goal here. Marconi, who have absorbed so much pressure, almost punish Apia.
That would have been a beautiful finish from Sekenis to add to those goals he's already had. Wow. That could have been one to remember for sure.
Damien Sekenis playing full of confidence there, just peeled away from a pack of about 3 Apia players there, and going backwards, that would have been an outrageous goal. But when you're the top goal scorer comfortably, that just comes off for you. And here is Kuda. You had to maybe pinpoint the issue of why Marconi's title defense ran out of steam last season. It was because of those goals drying up. Kambayashi, lovely pass for Fong. This would have been beautiful football. Definitely, that's Franco Parisi's sexy football that he's trademarked. Jesic looks up. Is it to Bernie? This game really has gone up a notch. Sammy, half an hour gone. It remains goalless. And they go long. That ball's allowed to bounce. It is. And Sekenis gets around Muatamalo, who was on a yellow card and allowed to shoot. But getting back there to block was Farinella and Kishimoto. That was messy. There were a couple half shouts at handball, but Sekenis did brilliantly there. And Sammy, that's what you said. Players with something to think about on a yellow card. We saw the perfect example of it there. Temba just almost having to just accept his fate and not commit to anything. Great call and great passage of play. Adrian Ochino showing off his left to right there. Wouldn't look out of place in the Tigers. He's now part of the Apia coaching staff. His final game for this club was that Derby d'Italia, as a whistle goes in favour of Apia, and those fans in the Joe Marsden Pavilion love that one. And that is just a beautiful symbol, Sammy, of the rich history of these clubs. Joe Marsden, the first Australian to feature in an FA Cup final, was once an APIA Leichhardt player. And these clubs have housed so many iconic Socceroos and just icons of football. Bob Bovieri, of course. Marconi Jr. Kuda to take the free kick. Blair with a skewed clearance. Mlinaric gets up. Kishimoto. It's a sea of bodies here, and they're happy to send it away. And Sekenis, not for the first time, on the end of a long ball. And Fong sends that one into the crowd. Sammy, this game has picked up a notch.
You could definitely see Damien Sekenis getting picked up in an A-League side, I reckon, next season. He's just even his touch and his play, it's just so much better even from last season. He's always been a great player.
And he's just moving with that aura of confidence, you can tell. And they might go in his direction here. Falls to Franco Maya. Good block by Monge. Oh, misplaced pass there. Rare error from Daniel. And Apia pounce on it. Great recovery, though, by Qual. Blair. This game is like a good game of ping pong at the moment. It's end to end. Denmead was looking for the switch. It was the right idea. Qual's there to cut it off. Sammy, as I have a quick glance at the scoreboard 33 minutes gone. They just showed a little montage of APIA's grand final celebrations. We got to see these teams in so many different scenarios. You would not be surprised, though, if you saw them in the 2026 grand final, would you?
No, for sure. Like I mentioned before, they're always up there. They're an incredible side.
Well won there by Caspers. They go for a switch in the direction of Busek. Matamala, who is on a yellow card. It's been a good battle between him and Sekenis, and of course, Jesic as well. Marconi in that tried and tested Seka 4-4-2. Apia can play the 4-4-2 as well. That bounces. I thought for a second maybe Ortiz was going to get there first. But they're playing that 4-3-3. Big changes for both teams. Two centre-backs that just passed amongst each other there. Inclusions for Marconi. Quinton Blair returning at the heart of midfield. For Apia, Oscar Gonzalez and Michael Conestabo dropped to the bench. Jack Stewart and Sean Simmons not in the squad altogether.
And Apia plays such quick, beautiful football that you can tell Marconi are just trying to slow things down now at the back. Milnaric and Tanquol just taking their time, slow passes, trying to put some more confidence back into their side and get possession.
They showed how quickly they can hurt you the other way. Marconi absorbing pressure and then hitting the crossbar from a free kick off the boot of Damien Sekenis. That's the closest we've come to a goal. A couple nice moments from Apia. Block shots. There's a beautiful passage of play. Pass from the outside of the boot. Kambayashi linking up with Fong, who then squared it back to Apia's Player of the Year. A lot of people's Player of the Year in 2025. Seiya Kambayashi was beaten to that award by Nick Olsen. One thing's for sure, Sammy. Both great players. And I don't know if this is a possibility as Kalats goes long and Ortiz, but I'm hearing that Apia might not be able to play their Australian Championship home games at Leichhardt Oval. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone that's listening, as that goes out for a throw. Marconi thought it was theirs, but it's an Apia throw instead. I'd love to see Australian Championship football here at Lambert Park.
Yeah, so would I. And I think you mentioned before the pavilion. There's so many people there. You probably can't see it on the camera, but all the juniors in there. There's so many people drinking and eating, and these crowds on our side are full. It's something Apia do really well, getting families and young kids to games. So it would be great to see at Lambert.
And even these stands either side of us. I've commentated a lot of games here, Sammy. I love commentating here. I'm going to say it. I've never seen this place this packed. Apia's done a great job promoting this game. You just walk down on your way to the stadium. There were posters in shops. The 94th Derby d'Italia. Both teams have done a great job hyping this game up. At this stage, it's goalless. A little cheeky speculator there from Marko Jesic was trying to loop Oli Kalats, but it ends up falling straight in his hands. Farinella bursting three, but then heavy touch and a strong collision. He's throwing himself into challenges. As that train rolls through. Beautiful feature here at Lambert.
You'd have to say Farinella has one of the best.
Flag stays down. Kishimoto showing off that hops once again. And he had to because he had Busek and Sekenis breathing down his neck. Fong looks up, has Denmead in front of him. Caspers. As the train went through, Sammy, I was trying to think of a train analogy to describe these two teams. I was thinking their attack has been like a freight train this season. Strong tackle once again. A couple challenges have been like a freight train in this opening half.
I was going to say Farinella's hair, I think, definitely has to be top 3 in the league, would you say? I'm loving
I thought
it.
you were going to say they were train tracks inspired. I love the braids. I personally couldn't pull them off. I'd need to go straight to Turkey. Here he is. A man that definitely does not need a Turkey trip. And here is Alex Denmead. Oh, and it's just over the bar. APIA's super sub has looked their most likely, starting the 94th Derby d'Italia and looking to send the message that he should be upgraded from super sub to regular starter. These teams met back in round 1. They've become familiar foes. 5 times they met last season. They met to open the season. Marconi winning that game by 2-1. Goalless in the opening 39. As the whistle goes, there's been a few of them. Referee certainly earning his money. Five minutes to go of a very entertaining, feisty Derby d'Italia. Only thing missing is a goal right now. Damo De Negris and Sam Yerman here for the 94th edition of this great Italo-Australian football rivalry. Header away by Caspers. Back into the mixer. It might fall here for Sekenis. Kishimoto got down low. I said he's got hops. He showed off his flexibility there. Out for a Marconi throw. Both these teams with game changers on the pitch, but plenty of game changers on the bench as well, ready to make an impact if it was to stay this way. Flicked on. Kishimoto acrobatically again. Jesic, show off his arm there. Looping throw. Both centre-backs up there. Such a luxury to have not just one attacking threat, but 2 that you could pour forward, but it means that they're going to have to track back. And Bernie, so much, Sammy, was made last season of, we saw so many incredible runs. Heidelberg was one of them. I'd love to know how many games Tyrone Bernie, I beg your pardon, and George Daniel played last season, because that had to comfortably be in the mid-40s. Bernie didn't play the opening game. Was working his way back from injury. Here's Denmead. Kambiyashi. Caspers looking for some space. Closed down by Jesic. He's been in the thick of it like he always is. Kuda looks up, trying to thread the needle for Ortiz. Intercepted again by Quol. Denmead dropping more centrally. And play it out wide to Kambiyashi. And he gets his cross in. Lenaric, a big inclusion today. Him and Quol as Jesic, not for the first time today, he's fouled. Wasn't happy about that treatment. Busek. Jesic wanted Daniel to make the run, and he plays it backwards instead. Here's Quol. 2.5 minutes to go. foul there from Kambayashi. Mentioned APIA's depth. You have to give a shout out to Marconi's as well when these teams met in round one. No Bernie, no Daniel as well. They were almost automatic inclusions. They were made out of steel. No injuries. They played so many games. They played 90 minutes every single week.
And you mentioned that duo playing so many games, but I think the Australian Championship, that could have gone against many players having to play that much football, but it's definitely made them a lot stronger and fitter. I think it's actually gone in their favour.
I had the chance to speak to Franco about that, saying, is that a blessing or a curse? Having really no off-season. The season finished in December. They met back up in January. And Laric cuts it off. You think Marconi played the final of the Australian Championship in December, and then they meet first weekend in February. Is a free kick here for APIA right before half-time. And Franco liked it. He said, I liked the fact that the players don't go away for too much. You know, off-season, sometimes players, they don't mind tucking into a bit of Don Panino, which well-deserved for both these teams after the incredible years that they had.
Or the Jimmy Hilton at the Piazza.
At the Piazza at Marconi, they do a great job as well. The canteen here at APIA, one of the best. But neither of these teams showing a hangover from last season, which would have been expected and even maybe forgiven. But here they are, battling for top spot. Goalless so far, 15 seconds of the first 45 to go. Kambayashi with another looper and giving Wade something to think about once again. You mentioned Jimmy Hilton. It's a tough act to follow. Coming in after Wise, we have 1 minute of added time, but Joel Wade's done a fantastic job. And we're seeing two great goalkeepers on display. We produce a lot of great goalkeepers here in New South Wales and Australia in general.
It's been a seamless transition for Wade, and I think it's something Marconi do really well. They're like the Napoli of the Serie A. They always find these gems who just shine at Marconi.
As a Napoli fan, I have to say, Sammy, I like that analogy. Here's Farinella. Then Mead. Little back heel there. And Maya. Both teams have come close. To say, Alex Denmead's come the closest for APIA, and Sekena's hitting the crossbar. Do we have one last chance? It is that man, Alex Denmead, blocked once again, not for the first time. Marconi blocking an APIA shot, and it's the returning heart of this defense, Anton Mlinaric. Awkward one to deal with, and it's Sekenas who tries to dink it through for Marko Jesic, and that ends a very entertaining opening 45 minutes here. No goals, but both teams, Sammy, have come close.
It's always an exciting game between these two, and we've had some nil-alls finish in the derbies, but I can definitely see some goals in the second half. A very exciting first half. Looking forward to the next.
During this halftime break, if you need to go to the toilet, make sure it's a number one. If you need a drink or a coffee, make sure it's an espresso, because we have a huge 45 minutes coming up in the 94th Derby d'Italia. Halftime here at Lambert Park. APIA 0, Marconi 0. Welcome back. That half-time was as frantic as the first half. There were kids everywhere. That truck made a return onto the field. The canteen line was enormous. Thankfully, it looks like everyone's on their way back to their seats in anticipation for the first goal in the 94th Derby d'Italia. These teams in recent history very rarely draw goalless. And actually, since 2023, the only Derby d'Italia that was a goalless one, Sammy, was actually a game I commentated. Can you believe it? That was my first one. I was so excited. And, of course, I had to put the Adamo kiss of death on that one. I have a feeling, though, it's not going to be goalless. I don't like making predictions, Sammy. He's Cameron Fong on the ball now.
Yeah, I do remember that game you were here, and it was one of the most exciting nil-all draws. But, yeah, I agree. I don't think that's going to be the case today.
It is true. I remember that game vividly. Dom Costanzo, the Speranza brothers. Of course, Jack Armstrong was in Morone Azzurri that day. These clubs have been the home to a lot of great players. Not just NPL great players. And one thing about this commentary point is you're right on top of the action. You can hear the challenges. You can really feel every miss and crossbar that's hit, like we saw in the first half. There's Kambayashi. That touch almost played in Farinella. And Sekenis, who did battle with Moatamalo in the first half, doing battle with his opposite centre-back, Kishimoto.
I mentioned there was a few cards given out, a lot of fouls in that first half. I also think the rain and weather could be a factor in this. It looks like it's going to start drizzling, so we'll see what happens.
Hopefully not. We got a pre-game shower, like is the tradition here at Lambert. Just as traditional as that train rolling through is the sprinkler. Always comes on and it just sends this place into chaos.
I once was a victim of that, wasn't I?
You were? Header away. You were doing the New South Wales NPL socials that day. As always, guys, make sure you check that out on Instagram for behind-the-scenes access, post-game interviews, which I'm sure we'll be doing, Sammy. And at this stage, if you had to pick one, which manager would have been the happiest after that first half?
I'd probably say Parisi. But in saying that, Marconi had a lot of good moments. Probably the best moment of the half was Damien Sekenis, but APIA probably had more of the chances.
That was definitely a... You look at... We said the trademark of APIA is sexy football. If you look at Marconi's trademark it's rock solid defensively, like we saw. Physical, players throwing themselves in front of shots. We saw that a few times in the first half, and then all they need is one chance. And they almost had that. But in saying that, they definitely weren't dominated. Guatemala, Kenneth did a great job. Really was a handful. And a big moment came when Guatemala fouled Jesic, had to give that foul away from an APIA perspective, and he got yellow carded, and then Sekenis almost cashed in on that a few moments later, put Guatemala in an awkward position. Now they're tangling in that penalty area. The throw goes that way, and it's going to be a Marconi corner. No, it's not. Oh, no. Yes, it is. There you go. These eyes, Sammy, they're not that bad. And the referee going to step in now because this push and shove is turning into a little bit of a Royal Rumble. The referee is just going to say, boys, that's enough. And we wait for the corner. Right in front of those APIA fans behind the goal, making plenty of noise, and I think maybe hurling a bit of abuse as well, which is part and parcel. And that one goes over the head of everyone and out for a goal kick.
Marconi had a lot of threats lurking, though. You mentioned before Milnaric and Qual, who always go up for these corners. It's interesting because you don't always see centre-backs, both the pairings, go up for the corners.
Yeah, right on cue, there's Milnaric with another header, and they're both Man Mountains. So when I went down to speak to both teams' managers, I quickly ran past Anton Milaric, and my first thought, Sammy, was, wow, I'm short.
You're not wrong.
Hey, I'd say 5'9" is average height, but there's a lot of above average height players in this game. 50 minutes gone, though. We are 5 minutes into the second half. Not the frantic start to the second like we saw in the first. Alex Denmead starting today and almost making an instant impact as Bernie and Kuda get tangled up right underneath our commentary box. Marinella starting. We mentioned all these players starting today, Sammy, though. There's some big names on the bench for both teams. Rattle through both of them very quickly. After this, it looked like Kambiyashi was going to get on the end of that pass. Still searching for that first goal in 2026. Apia's bench today, Alex Parks, Navid Alizada, Michael Conestabo, Rory Jordan, Levi Shuriaga, Kyle Shaw, and Oscar Gonzalez. So plenty of game changers on that bench for Franco Parisi as we're 6 minutes now into the second half. Marconi, Oliver Yates, Cameron Windass, Adam Bulgaria, Sunday Yona, Pearson Casawaya, Antonio Marvello, and Daniel Osei. Marlo over the top of Jesic there. He let out a big grunt that you may have been able to hear on our effects mic. Marco, as always, Sammy, in the thick of it, in the trenches. It's going to be a Marconi free kick. Similar position, opposite side of the field to the one that led to the closest we've come to seeing a goal, and that was when Damien Sekenis hit the crossbar, managed to peel off a few defenders on the end of a free kick, and here is Maya to take another one. Scorer of some fantastic goals, looking to be the provider. Decent ball once again. Moata Malo at full stretch to header it away, and here's Caspers now. Just had no one in support and got hunted down, but there he is winning the ball once again. Ortiz, nice little turn of pace. And getting back and recovering is Qual. Wade. Kuda. Is it to Monaric. Big week coming up for Apia. Sammy, they play Rockdale midweek in the Cup. We both had the chance to work on the Australian Championship. I'm going to park that story momentarily because here comes Maya with a bit of space. He plays Sekenis and the last defender there, Kishimoto, to cut it off. We both had the chance to work on the Australian Championship. And there seemed to be a theme amongst the New South Wales teams. We said, what is the game you circle on your calendar? That looked like it was a foul, and the referee agrees. Almost all the teams said Rockdale. I don't know what it is about Rockdale, but teams love or want to beat them.
It's interesting because they lost a lot of their good players. I mean, you mentioned Yuroshevsky, but they've still been up there, Rockdale, and they always seem to find that, those stars. A lot of their youngsters and 20s players always get pushed up, and Rockdale are always strong.
Yeah, you're right. They lost some big names, but brought in some big names as well. That's going to be a great midweek Australian Cup game, but meanwhile, there's still plenty of football to be played here. Goalless, about 10 minutes into the second half.
Also, the best part about the Cup is anything can happen. The magic of the Cup, right? You've got teams that obviously are strong in the league and they lose, like what happened with Sydney Olympic and Marconi.
Absolutely, and we saw Apia pull off a huge upset last year when they knocked out, at that stage, the defending Australian champions, Melbourne City. Not the first time Apia have done that. Of course, famously beat Melbourne Victory, who were the defending champions at that stage in this competition. They beat, in the Australian Cup. Looping across Kishimoto once again. Header away only as far as Marko Jesic! What a goal from Mr. Marconi! One of their all-time greats, has scored a lot of amazing goals, but that is one of the best you will see. And it was going to take a moment of magic to unlock the 94th Derby d'Italia. It is fitting that it comes from the Marconi captain.
That is one of the best goals I've seen in the league and seen live. Wow, Marko Jesic doing it time and time again, turning back the clock. What a goal.
It's fitting that the man who is a roofer by trade put that into the roof of the net. You could have had 2 Ollie Kalats in goals there, and they weren't going to save that one. We had the perfect view of that in our commentary box, Sammy, as you saw that, like a rocket. Wow. How do APIA respond now? They've looked dangerous. They've knocked on the door. They've had a lot of the ball, but like we've seen so often with Marconi, hard to break down. They concede the least amount of goals, but a feature, a return to goal-scoring form for the Stallions in 2026. What a goal. Wow. And that one, I have a feeling, Sammy, is going to be doing the rounds on the socials.
Definitely will have to be up there for goal of the season at the end, I say. Wow.
How do APIA respond now? You can see just it's picked back up a notch. A little bit of a, I wouldn't say sluggish start, but it was a bit of a lull opening 10 minutes. It's just been big challenge there, right underneath our commentary box. Kuda not happy, and Michael Kuda not happy with the treatment he got there. Letting out a huge yell as he was challenged there, and he's tempers are flaring, as you'd expect in a derby, and it's been simmering. It's just reached its boiling point now. Referee calling Qual over. It was a heavy challenge that we heard right underneath our camera. I'm sure that yell that Kuda let out was picked up by our effects mic. And tempers flaring here, and I think that's the safest way to just get it back under control. Card, let's get on with what's been a fantastic opening hour here. And that's derby football, Sammy. It's these teams both play with their heart on their sleeve, feisty characters. Play back underway. Card for Kuta and Qual. Qual for the challenge, and Kuta probably for the afters that ensued. And another challenge comes flying in. Sammy, that's derby football.
Just shows what it means to these two teams.
Absolutely. Well said.
We mentioned before the form and the fact that there's only one game that separates these two teams, and that's why.
And there is Sekenis looking for some room. Kalatz has to come off his line. Yep, just don't want to lose their head here. Of course, you're going to be frustrated having played the way they played, and you concede an absolute screamer like that, but they don't want to lose their heads. Just playing into Marconi's hands. Still plenty of time here. Hour gone. It was goalless. We said it was going to take something special, and that's exactly what we got, but the man who scored the terrific goal is down, Marko Jesic. And Guatemala puts it out of play. This would be a big blow. Just scored an absolute screamer. He scored some fantastic goals in his time. It's changes for APIA. Rory Jordan coming on for Fabian Monge, and Michael Conestable coming on for Seiya Kambayashi. Double change here, Jordan and Conestable, two very handy replacements. Of course, Conestable making the move over from Spirit after their incredible premiership winning season, where he was part of that lethal front three. And Rory Jordan last season picked up the attacker of the month in one of those months. So we talk about that APIA depth. It looks like, just doing a bit of sign language, Sammy, that Marko Jesic is going to have to be taken off. So far, it's an unfortunate end, but the 94th Derby d'Italia belongs to him so far. Looks like he's making way. He's given the armband to Mlinaric. So, changes for both teams. It's Adam Bulgaria coming on. Very handy replacement, Sammy. I'm a big fan. Ex-Western Sydney Wanderer. Had a great run in their NPL team. Went over to the Perth Glory. Had a stint in the A-League. And now on to replace the goal scorer Marko Jesic. So changes for both teams, Sammy. Bulgaria did start last week. He's got one goal this season, a couple in the cup. Absolutely ridiculous assist to set up Damien Sekenis' second goal last week. Beautiful ball. We go now long in the direction of Jordan. Attacking change coming on Conestable for Monge. Bernie gets around Farinella. Well closed down by Kishimoto. That's an awkward one for Kalatz, and then Kishimoto just sends it away. Anywhere will do. Ortiz has to hold it up. Strong challenge once again by Qual. Mlinaric loses his footing. Still ends up being a great ball. Nice use of the body there, but just a little bit too much from Sekenis. It's been a great battle, those two. Tomalo goes long looking for Conestable. Mlinaric sends that one into someone's backyard. Marconi will be happy with how this game is playing out. This just plays perfectly into their hands. Particularly when a bit of frustration starts to creep in. You don't want want to be getting frustrated looking for a goal against the league's best defence, Denmead. Certainly looked the most likely in the first half. Caspers. Roy Jordan, one of two changes by Parisi. They've still got 3 more. I think they're going to be attacking changes that could bring on Oscar Gonzalez. Jordan thought he was fouled by Bernie. Marconi now go the opposite direction. Sekenes, Kishimoto, and a good low save by Kalatz. It looked like Kishimoto was going to get there, but the most informed striker in the competition managed to get a shot and force Kalatz into making a good, sharp save. And once again, Sammy, you're seeing Marconi absorbing pressure, and just like that, able to hit them on the counter-attack and nearly double their lead.
Great save by Kalatz. He's always calm and collected at the back. But yeah, they're putting that pressure on them.
Conestable. Send that one away. Guatemala was fouled. The referee quick to blow the whistle. Here's Farinella. You can sense, you can see the urgency now starting to creep in for APIA.
I still feel like there's another goal in this one, though.
I have a similar feeling, Sammy. Maya does well there to evade a couple APIA players, but then one touch too many as the ball pinched by Jordan. Now out to Fong. Caspers was hounded down by Sekenes. He does well to evade the press. Here's Farinella. So far, it's the team leading the competition who lead the 93rd Derby d'Italia. Win and Marconi would pull 3 points clear of Sydney United and 5 points clear of APIA. Cross by Kishimoto. It might fall here. Headed back in by and a leaping Lenaric gets over Conestable and sends that one away. No complaints then by Conestable, who's not fazed by much. He's a very nonchalant guy. Absolute terrific footballer. Wow, well won by Farinella. Sekenes gesturing, maybe either with a teammate or the referee. You've seen now that new front two, Jesic, scorer of one of the best goals you will ever see, coming off with what hopefully is nothing too serious, replaced by Bulgaria.
Big loss. We hope Jesic is okay because, as you mentioned, one of the best goals ever. And it's pretty incredible. Marco's had a great career, and it's, like I said, turning back the clock, it's like he's still in his early 20s.
I'm going to say the clock is permanently turned back. It's on a different time zone because he's still running around and moving like a 25-year-old. Approach the 70-minute mark. You wonder if maybe we see a couple more changes. There's a bit of a nervous energy here. You can feel it amongst the APIA fans who have packed out Lambert Park. You guys don't see the full picture of it on your screen, but both stands either side of our commentary position are full. There's a nervousness after that goal. I think people were expecting a goal to come, but they probably thought it was going to be the home team, Sammy, and Michael Jesic is going to take a moment of magic, and that is what we got. Jordan has his heels clipped by Maya. Kuda takes it quickly, switches in the direction of Denmead, and that brick wall of Marconi just impenetrable at the moment, Sammy. Caspers had Bulgaria all over him like a cheap suit. Fong. Nice little burst of pace there, but then the final pass just a little bit off. Montemalo. They're getting ready to make two changes, it looks like. Oscar Gonzalez getting ready to come on. A game changer. There's a knack of scoring in this game.
Always loves a late goal too, doesn't he?
Scored that goal that sent him to penalties. They go in the direction of Ortiz. Sent that Australian Championship game to penalties. Also scored what ended up being a consolation in their round one meeting. So it might be my eyes, Sammy, are no good, but Levi Shudiaga getting ready to come on. A little bit of afters there from Ortiz on Quol. Not going to get that change now. Levi Shudiaga coming on for Presley Ortiz and Michael Kuda making way for Navid Alizada, another one of these exciting youngsters from APIA. You can see a little bit of a reshuffle here. Kudarov, who so often plays next to Moatamalo, but that's Kishimoto's role today. Alizada slotting in at left back. Beg your pardon, it wasn't Levi Shudiaga, it's Oscar Gonzalez. Double change, Ortiz off, Gonzalez on, Alizada on, Kuta off. Gonzalez was on a great run of form. Flick there and his body's all over the place, and one of them was Kalatz, who comes through to claim that one. He was on a great run of form. He actually, when Ortiz returned from broken wrist, kept him on the bench for a little bit. Apia's top goal scorer from last season. Scored 5 goals this season. Gonzalez, there he is giving away the foul. Both these teams, which we mentioned in the first half, Sammy, but such a great crop of players currently, but then also for the future. Gonzalez, Max Court, of course, is not featuring today. Navid Alizada, another one. Shout out to Johan De Souza, who was their 20s Player of the Year, suffered a really unfortunate ACL injury at the start of the season, right before round one, so wish him all the best in his recovery. But so many exciting youngsters for both these teams coming through, and it's no surprise and no wonder that they met in the under-20s grand final last season. Marconi taking out that one, but the first time that Apia's 20s featured in the grand final, first time in a decade. Sammy, as we approach 15 minutes to go, who do you think in this Apia team is going to be the game changer, the one to unlock this Marconi backline, which only conceded 12 times this season?
I'm going to say Oscar Gonzalez. I think there's a lot of confidence in him for such a young age. He's done it before. He's done it in those crucial moments. I think he'll definitely turn up in the derby today.
Foul there. Only 17 years of age, Oscar Gonzalez. I have to say, I heard him in a post-game interview that we do on our socials, guys. It's another reminder, seamless plug here from me, but keep your eyes on the New South Wales NPL Instagram. We'll be catching up with a player from the winning team. At this stage, it looks like it's going to be someone from Marconi.
And if I had to say someone, I think it would have to be Jesic after that goal.
Yellow card here, a bit of time wasting. You're thinking it's a little bit early to be time wasting, still 16 minutes to go. I think it may have been Blair, the American, shown the yellow card. He's now walked away from the ball. Still a long time to go. Kalatz claims that one confidently and shows off his arm, launching it in the direction of Gonzalez, and Bernie launches that one. That one nearly landed at Don Panino's up the road. Farinella. Definitely not panic stations yet for APIA, but time is beginning to run out, and you can just see the frustration creeping in a little bit, particularly on their bench. Starting to get very agitated.
Yeah, there's been a lot of stop-start in this game throughout. I mean, first half was that case, and now you've got it again. So I think that can also go against the players. They start to make a run, and then it's a stop-start.
Well, you look up textbook Marconi victory in the dictionary, and this 75 minutes is the blueprint of it, I think. Just rock solid defensively. Players throwing themselves in front of shots, and APIA have had chances. They've had Denmead, a lot of blocked shots, which won't probably show up on a highlight reel, but if you're a defender, you'd be very happy. And if you're Seka and the great Peter Flea, you'd be loving what you're seeing. 15 minutes to go. As Levi Shuriaga gets ready to come on. 14 minutes to go here. Is Marconi's run against APIA in this competition going to continue? They did the double on them last season. They're just a bit over 10 minutes away from doing it again. Gonzalez is full of energy. Looks like in a couple of instances he's been auditioning for the Tigers, for the NRL. He's been throwing a couple of shoulders into this. It's been played with a good derby energy. Switch, look to get that one over the head of Busek. It still falls for Denmead. Conestable. Denmead again, he turns. Looks in the direction of Gonzalez. Alizada. Jordan. You can see that block behind the ball for Marconi. Everyone except Sekenis. Caspers. Just no room here. It's the Azuri wall so far. A couple of APIA players getting tangled up. And out for a throw, which will let Marconi waste a couple more seconds and also allow APIA to make their fifth and final change. Eddie Caspers coming off for Levi Shuriaga, an attacking change. Shuriaga has been a prolific goal scorer in the Cup. He's scored in every round of the Australia Cup. They would love him to get a goal for the first grade team. He's also bagged 5 goals for their under-20s. Missed a chunk of the season with an ankle injury. Very handy player, cousin of Presley Ortiz. And also the creator of a very entertaining Day in the Life series where he's trying to get Jeremy Doku to comment. Player down for Marconi. Beg your pardon, that's APIA, and Marconi put it out. And Sammy, to your point, it has been a very stop-start second half, which suits Marconi.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say, I think Farinella's probably been my standout today for APIA. For someone that doesn't start every week, he's been incredible. He's in every challenge, giving it his all. Enough energy, you'd say, that he's just started the game as well. He's still been going. So hopefully this isn't too serious and it's just some cramping from not playing 90-minute football every game. I think that's just the case.
Let's hope it's just a case of needing Franco needing some pickle juice. Apologies if you're picking up a banging. It's chaos here at Lambert. There's kids everywhere, very excited. Were you a menace when you were a youngster going down to Wollongong Wolves games? Were you terrorising people up in the stands there?
I was getting screamed at by my dad because a lot of these players that you actually see, like your Marko Josic, I was, talking smack to your Dean Zammit, who coaches the 20s for APIA. A lot of these greats in the game that are still either playing or they're coaching. I was just that little annoying sister.
If you haven't picked it up already, Sam Yeoman was one of those people born and bred in this competition. Dragged along as a youngster. I can imagine you winning a couple pin the tail on the wolf race down at Wynn. She's a Gong native if you haven't picked that up.
It's actually pulling the tail off the wolf. You know, you always get that wrong. But yeah, one of the great things in the league. It's very iconic and it's still going. Good to see.
Farinella has made his way to the sideline, still going through some kind of testing. Sammy, this one, I'm just doing it quickly in my head, make sure I haven't miscounted, but that would be their changes are done. Alizada, Shuriaga, strong header from Kishimoto once again. This would be a huge result in this competition. So United losing yesterday means that Marconi have a chance to pull clear. Remember, very similar to last season, they went the opening 3 months of the competition unbeaten. They look like our signed and sealed premiers, and then fell off towards the back end of the season. A long season, lots of injuries caught up with them in the end, and they ran out of steam and had their season ended by APIA. Since that game, though, which was here back in September, they've knocked them out of the Australian Championship. They beat them at the Palace. Looks like they're going to do the double on them for the second season in a row. Going to be changes for Marconi, and looks like it's Busek coming off. Jordan. Lovely ball for Shuriaga. Bernie closes him down quickly. Lizardo was making the overlapping run. He's now just cooled off it a little bit, and Maya gets back there. Jordan. The Marconi team have proved very hard to break down. You can just see it. Everyone behind the ball right now for the Stallions. Confirmation of that Marconi change. Sunday, Yona coming on. Very dangerous player on the counter-attack, Yona. This could be tailor-made for him this last 7 minutes and 10 seconds of the 90. There's been a lot of stoppages though, Savvy, like you pointed out. Decent ball. Strong header away once again by Qual. Kishimoto. Alizada. Yes. Heavily rotated up your team due to injuries and a fixture list that is going to start piling up. Particularly when a team like APIA has an ambition of winning every competition that they're in. Jordan. Is it out wide to Alizada? Shuriaga. Coney want the foul, and they beg your pardon, the throw, and they get it. Time starts to tick away, Sammy. Another player down here for APIA. This would be horrible. It's Alizada, the youngster. He's come on in place of Michael Kuda. He's clutching a knee. Let's hope not. He hobbles off to the side. And he hops back onto the field. So that's good news, because I feared the worst when I saw him on the floor clutching at his knee. Sammy, our first prediction that this wouldn't be a goalless draw was correct. We made another one saying we thought there could be one goal.
Yep.
At this stage, though, it doesn't look like APIA can breach the league's best defence. Connor Starbo, he's capable of something fantastic. So is Denmead, but then he has the ball pinched off him, and it gives Yona his first chance to break. He spent the entire time since coming on defending, as has Bulgaria. Plays it for Yona, who just gets the ball lost in his heels and allows APIA now to break. Do we have another chapter in this derby, or is it going to be the Stallions who, Sammy, would pull 2 wins clear in the all-time ledger between these teams?
Like you mentioned, 3 clear at the top, which is massive in this competition. Obviously, it's a long season, but you're wanting to be getting points every week because otherwise they'll just pull away. Very tight at the top.
And Qual, who has to be careful, he is on a yellow card, tangling up. Sammy, I'm looking at results quickly across the grounds. An absolutely wild one. Rockdale down 5-0. So that's APIA's opponent midweek, but in the meantime, still looking for an equaliser here. Oscar Morrison gave Wanderers the lead, then Hunter Elliott was sent off in the first half, and Rockdale conceded another 4. So are potentially both those teams heading into that midweek Australia Cup clash off the back of a defeat. It'd be back-to-back defeats for APIA, which under Franco Parisi is very rare.
Wanderers have been finding some form recently too, but I think, was it Rockdale that lost last week to UNSW? So it just shows this league, there's no win that's guaranteed. Each week, those teams that are at the lower are fighting for those points.
Flicked on by Sekenis. Other results, a big one for Sydney Olympic. I mentioned the Cup. Of course, they knocked Marconi out of it. Marconi avenged that defeat in the league. They're up 2-0 against Blacktown. So what I love about this app, Sammy, is Sofa Score. I don't know if you have it. You've got to download it. It's got a live ladder. Nice touch by Shuriaga. Tries to get around Bernie. So you look at that live ladder. Marconi would go 3 clear of Sydney United with far superior goal difference, 23-15. And in the context of this game, they'd go 5 clear of APIA. Western Sydney sneak into the top 6 as well. Big results happening all across the league here. 4 games being played, but none bigger than this one. APIA v Marconi for the 94th time in their history. Looks like, unless we get some late drama, Marconi are going to do the double. Alizada. Guatemala.
Just a few minutes to go. Can APIA pull one back? Giving it their everything.
Certainly are, Sammy, but Marconi looking rock solid. Shniaga. Blair happy to just send that one away. Sekenis, like he does so often, has battled tooth and nail and fought for everything. He hit the crossbar in the first half, but vintage Marconi performance so far, Sammy.
Yeah, after Marconi got that goal, I think APIA were a little bit stunned, and even though they've got moments of brilliance and these creative players, they've just not really been able to get into it and create those chances just because it's been so stop-start.
Particularly there was a free-flowing first half. It's been, you're right, a very stop-start, but just with that one moment, Yona, who won the ball, and then almost continued his run. He almost started and wanted to finish that counter-attack. We're approaching added time here. The 90 is almost up. Shuriaga scored a brilliant free kick against Sydney Uni in the Cup. It might take something like that to equalise it. Good ball for Conestable, sharp save! And the closest APIA have come to scoring in this game. Joel Wade denies Conestable. Is that the final chance for APIA? Lovely ball to pick out Conestable. And it was Wade who denied him. Jordan. That one just lifted the crowd a little bit, Sammy. Just consigned to defeat, but no one's left.
Time in it.
Seen plenty of late drama on this ground. In the direction of Gonzalez, and I think back to a game against Rockdale here last season. Late Seiya Kambayashi winner really kick-started APIA's run to the title. Are we going to see some late drama here? I don't care who is the goal scorer. Teams came into this game with the first and second best attack, but it is the team with the best defense. Look like they might grind out another victory. Qual was looking for Sekenis. Moatamalo. Qual happy to just let that one for his goalkeeper, who milks a couple seconds. I always say you earn the right to time waste. And Marconi have done that. It's been a vintage Marconi masterclass. And apart from that chance to Michael Conestable a couple minutes ago, they haven't looked like conceding. Since taking the lead, it was a Jesic screamer, which I'm sure has probably already been posted on social media. Are we going to get some late drama that will get posted as well? Conestable. Or is it straight back in? That entourage of Marconi's bench all yelling, urging their team on. They go in the direction. Shuriaga has saved it for APIA. Levi Shuriaga may have just rescued the 94th Derby d'Italia. And surely that deserves a comment from Jeremy Doku. Late drama in this derby, which has been filled with big moments. Levi Shuriaga has scored goals in the cup, goals for the 20s, but he gets his first grade goal in the league, Sammy. None bigger than that.
Shuriaga has just broken Stallions' hearts. There's an uproar at Lambert, and he's given them some hope to walk away with a point.
If you're wondering why I mentioned Jeremy Doku, he does a Day in the Life series where he's trying to get Jeremy Doku to comment on his Day in the Life. Well, that is going to make for a great piece of content. Surely that is it, Sammy, or do we have one last chance?
Not long to go. We've seen some crazy scenes here today. Jesic screamer, late screamer, only in a derby.
The Derby d'Italia delivers once again. It looked like we saw... it was like The Godfather, because I've seen it 100 times. Marconi, get a goal, shut up shop, grind out a victory. It looked like it was going to be that, Sammy. Bernie, though, is fouled. This could be the last chance. Wow, we've seen plenty of drama here. Everyone on the edge of their seat. Some are standing, some are pacing. Sam Yerman, my co-host, she's got the arms crossed. She's nervous.
It's been a stressful game.
It's been a game that has had absolutely everything, played with derby passion and plenty of flair as well. Plenty of sexy football and also some not so sexy football. But two decisive moments look like they're going to lead to this game being shared just for the 19th time in this great derby. It looks like the points will be split. Unless, last chance, they go in the direction of Conestable. Another header away. Does Wade prevent it from going out for a corner? He does. And Conestable and Wade getting tangled up. I'm not going to lie, Sammy, I've lost count on who's been yellow carded because there's been a few. There's been a Oprah Winfrey spree of cards at the end of this game for time wasting and everything else. Last chance, here we go. Oh, no, we're looking for Farinella. Will it be a Marconi? I wouldn't call it a smash and grab because they've been well up for this one, but it'd definitely be a derby heartbreaker. Blair, nice work to manage to get a pass around. Jordan plays in. Armson, who I thought was going to be one-on-one against Kalatz. Last-ditch defending. Wouldn't that have been a story? Jack Armson, championship winner with APIA.
Against his old team.
I couldn't tell from my angle. This is it. Corner.
Last chance.
For Marconi. This would be a heartbreaker for APIA, who fought so hard to get back into this one and salvage a point. Are they about to have it snatched away at the end of a fantastic Derby d'Italia? The 94th edition comes down to this corner, looping to the back post. Kalatz picks that one off comfortably, and that is the end of a fantastic 94th Derby d'Italia for the 19th time. Points are shared. It didn't look that way, Sammy. A fantastic goal by Marko Jesic. Looked like it was going to be the winner until super sub Levi Shuriaga rescued a point for his team, and I hope at some stage he gets that comment from Jeremy Doku.
An incredible game. It just shows APIA didn't give up and that you're always in it, and that last-minute goal from that super sub has kept APIA a point, but also, like you mentioned, another draw in this glorious derby. This game had everything.
It certainly did. It means that Marconi will finish this round still in top spot. They go 1 point clear of United. Wow. I think everyone here is just catching their breath a little bit after the end of a fantastic, the 94th Derby d'Italia. Sam Yeoman, it has been an absolute pleasure to call it with you. My name is Adamo Denegros. On behalf of both of us and Football New South Wales, have a lovely Sunday night. Final score here at Lambert. APIA 1, Marconi 1.